Hello. Okay, so first off, welcome to Positively Packaged. I want to walk you through a couple of the Canva basics if you've never used Canva. I'm just going to kind of go over the simplest things just to show you how easy Canva is to use. So this is when you log in and create an account. This is your home screen, and it can seem a little overwhelming, but eventually you'll get to know like what parts you need to focus on. Like these are all the templates that they have given you and things like that. But as you start to create your own designs, you're really going to focus within your design section. And a lot of times I don't even pay any attention to this after I've started creating things, because I set everything up in folders, and you just come over here and you create a new folder. I'm just going to name this video so you can see. Create a folder, and then you can create folders within folders. And that's that. And that just keeps things super interesting. Super organized. And it just makes things so much easier for you to find them, and without having to kind of scroll through all that, all those designs, because when you come in here, it can get a little crazy. So it just makes it super useful to just come into, a folder and find what it is that you're looking for. Here is the template section that is just all the templates that Canva offers, which you could scroll on for hours. If you purchased a package from us, you will get all the templates that you need that are kind of already set up for your branding to make it super useful. So you don't need to kind of worry about this, because sometimes it is a little hard to keep consistency within your brand, and it can be hard to decide which of these templates will kind of work with your brand. So if you have those templates from us for your brand, that will make things a lot easier. And then you can come in here and you can look at all the photos that they have, and there's free ones, and then there's ones that come with Canva Pro. So depending on the version that you have will depend how many photos you have here. And if you don't have the Canva Pro, you will see a little dollar amount there and then you decide whether or not you just want to go to Canva Pro or you want to purchase. There is your brand kit here. There's a whole nother video that explains how to set this up and why it's beneficial, Canva free versus Canva Pro, and there's all that fun stuff. So these are just how to kind of get around within Canva. And then when you come in here, and we're just going to select something just so I can walk you through. When you come in here, you have the same options, so you don't have to go back out to the homepage to find everything. Everything is just very easy to access within here. So you come in here, and here's all the photos that you can scroll through that you just saw out on the other page. Here's all the elements. When you recently used them, they're there. There's tons to scroll through here, and these are the same thing as well. Some of these are free, some of these you need to purchase. These are our grids, which I'll show you in a minute, for your photos. That makes designing a layout extremely easy. Here's shapes that if you want to use them within. Here are frames, which is the photo. You pop a photo within this particular shape that are fun. And you have stickers and charts and lines. I love using the lines, which come with the arrows and things like that. Like there's so much stuff in here, guys. I would just make sure that when you create a brand and things like that, you use things that kind of go along with it and make sense and things like that. So that way people can begin to recognize your brand and it doesn't get a little crazy. So like this is like one of the lines, and then you can come in here and you can make it longer and shorter and things like that. And you just do that by dragging. Like that's why it's so easy, and that's how you can easily resize things. Now see how this is here and there's this dotted line around it? This is what they call grouping of items, and you can group things together so that way if you need to move it all in one piece, you can do that, and it makes it super easy for you. So if you have something and it's already grouped and you have the dotted line here, you just hit ungroup. And then what that does is now you can select each piece individually if you need to come up here and change your font. So this is all you do to change your font. And if you have your brand font set up, it's super easy. But you just select that, come over here and select the font that you want. If you wanted to change it, make it bigger or smaller, that's all you do. You just come in here and you change the size. Now, if say you wanted to change the color of this, come over here, and if you have your brand kit set up, you can do that. If you do not and you need to manually type it in, you would come over here and type in whatever it is. Or if you're selecting, I don't recommend doing this if you're trying to establish a consistent brand, because your brand color would change in every layout that you have, which I do not recommend. But so that's how you change the color. Those are different ways you can change the color. And then you have an option of bold or unbold. This is italic. Here, let me choose the different fonts so you can see how that is. Italicized. And then if you want to underline something, this is your justification. So left, center, right. This is fully justified, but there's not enough text to do that. So you have that. And then this is just if you want something to be in all caps and you don't want to have to type it back out in all caps. It's just easy way to make it all caps. This is if you want to create a list from the copy that you have in here. It just makes it super useful. There's different options within there. And this is your spacing, which I want to show you here so you can see. This, you have, within typography, you have your letter spacing, and then you have, which is the space in between each individual letter, and then you have the space in between each line of copy. So if you were doing letter, it would see how it all spaces out and gets closer together. Can't even read that. So you can play around with that. And then there's also spacing in between each individual line that you can play around with. And that's pretty much all the typography tools that you would be working within, your color, all that stuff. And then say you finesse this and you're happy with how this is and everything is set up in the fonts that you want to use, things like that. You would click on this, hold down the shift key, and you select each one. And now you see the dotted line, which you could try and hold it and move it at the same time. But if you want to move everything together and you don't want things to move around, I highly suggest grouping the items. So you just come over here and you just hit group. And then real quick, I want to show you, if I was to ungroup this and I want to change this layout completely, I'll move this photo over so you can see, and you need to hold shift and select these things, and now you want to center it. You come over here to your position, and you can do one of two things. You can center it within the items that you're working with, or you can center it within the layout. So see how that was working with the middle, if you want to center everything. And then that kind of like moves the things around, but this might not be like what you're looking for. And if you need to undo something, you can click over here to undo, 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 or you can just do Command Z as many times as you need to. Now, if say for instance you want to do this center, but you want it to be centered within the entire document, it's a little tedious, but what you need to do is select on each item individually and then come in here and hit center, because now it's centering it within the document and not within the elements that you had selected. So I hope that makes sense. Now, if you came in here and you like this photo, but you're like, I want it to kind of be in the background and not be fully, its full color, you would just come in here and you would change the transparency, and then it's like in the background. So that's those couple things. And then just really quickly, uploads. If you come in here, you can upload an image, a video, anything of that nature, and you would just click upload. You can also just literally drag it from your desktop and toss it in there. I think you have to be at the bottom in order to do that. Or it could be because I'm screen sharing and it's just not working. I personally just like to go get it because sometimes the drag and drop isn't, I would just do that. It makes it so much easier. There, you can drag and drop, but I think it's because I have an endless supply of things in here, it makes it extremely difficult to drag it over into the folder. And then if you were to put in videos, this is, see how it says just drag one from onto your desktop? Since there's nothing in this folder, it makes it a lot easier. So if you had videos, you can just upload them here. And then really quickly, let's go back to this layout and go into the elements. And if you can add notes, like if you have a team and you need to add notes to the layout, you can do that. But if you want to copy this page, you can do that. If you want to create a new page altogether, this is it. This color right here, you can see, this is your background color that you can kind of change up however you want. If you don't want a background color and you want it to be white, just select it. See how it's blue? Let me use the layer color screen. See how it's blue? You can just hit delete. If you wanted to come in here and you have different items within each thing, like say you're doing like an entire month's worth of Instagram posts, you could be like, today's date 5/17/20. You can name this whatever you want, or Monday post, I don't know, whatever you want to name it. So there's that. You can also come in here and see these arrows. You can move them up and down. If this is a document that has pages and you need to move page 5 to page 6, you would just go like this and it changes it around and you're like, oops, gotta change that back. If you need to just go back in here and you want to delete this page, you just delete it. But I want to show you something. So you have this, and then there's these grids, which are really cool because sometimes you want to have 3 photos, but it's, you know, super hard to come in here and make them all the same size or create a specific grid with proper spacing and all that. So you just come in here and you literally select this, and say you wanted it, but you didn't want it to fill the entire thing, you can just scale this however you want, and the proportion within everything stays the same. And then it's so easy. You come in here into your, either into photos or your uploads or whatever it is, and you just drag it into the spot where you want it to be. And that's it, guys. And that's how that works. And then you can come in here and add your text. So you come in and you would hit add a heading. And I'm trying to show you. So this you can rotate if you need to turn them around on its side, flip it around, whatever you want to do. If you want to change the heading, you would just change it, type it in. There's that. And then see this arrow tool? This is what you use. You would just click and drag, and that's how you would move them around. If you want to add a subheading, like, it's just that simple. There's also this that'll pop up here, especially when it's small. It's hard to do. And you can see that Canva does try to give you some alignment as you're working within your design, just to kind of help you, especially when you have more and more elements on the page. It will kind of guide you into how to align things. which is super beneficial and useful. That is pretty much the majority of what you're going to use on a, I would say, day-to-day focus. Those are really the basics. And then it just comes down to like how you want to share this. Do you want to share it right out to someone on your team where they can edit it? Or if you are going to kind of sell templates, like this is how you would do that. If you just want to download it, you can just download it to your desktop. If you want to save it out to your Facebook page, things like that, email it right to someone, you can do that. There's so many options within here, guys. It's like really incredible. You can even, which I've never done this yet, but you can get things printed directly from Canva. So it's really cool. There's lots and lots and lots of things to do within this program. So that's it, guys. That's pretty much the gist of how to use the basics. I hope you guys have fun designing. Try not to be super over cautious or concerned about things, like especially at first. Like come in here, just play with things, like just make a plain document and play with the tools until you get familiar with them, and try not to get too worked up about it. So happy designing. We'll talk to you later. Bye.